Hey, what's going on, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here. Today we're answering questions for you guys. We're going to talk about a funny story that happened to me with um, Reggie Jackson during my playing career, my time with the Yankees. Um, Had a lot of funny things happen over my career. There's certain things I share with you guys. A lot of things that I don't if I don't feel like the person would want me to. But this one's pretty funny, and Reggie already kind of knows what happened. So um, I'll kind of set the story up for you. Goes back a long time. When I was probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old, probably. I was visiting the Baseball Hall of Fame, and I was with my dad. We took a trip down there to watch Paul Sorrento play, who was, I'm from Peabody, Mass. He's a Peabody guy who was playing for the Indians at the time. So we went down. My dad had coached him, Babe Ruth and stuff. So we went down to watch him play, staying at the Baseball Hall of Fame or hotel right there, and coming down the elevator in the morning, and me and my dad are in there, and Reggie Jackson steps in. Reggie Jackson, if you guys don't know who he is, he's a Hall of Fame baseball player. Hit a ton of home runs, great left-handed hitter, power hitter. Played with the Yankees and A's. So he just had a great career. Anyways, I'm in the elevator. We're coming down, and my dad kind of nudges me, and he's like, "Hey," he's like, "That's Reggie Jackson." And I was like, "Okay." I think at that age I probably didn't know who he was. So my dad gave me a ball, and as the elevator doors opened, he kind of walked out. My dad said, "Hey, go grab his autograph." So I was like, "Okay." So I ran, took the ball, ran up to Reggie, asked him for his autograph. And he said, "I don't sign autographs for free." And that's it. And he turned and kind of walked away. And so I was like, "Okay." So I went back to my dad, and I gave him the ball. He said, "Where's the autograph?" And I said, "He said that he doesn't sign for free." So my dad got kind of pissed and kind of chased him down, like grabbed me, kind of chased him down, and said, kind of stopped him and said, "Mr. Jackson, if you're not going to sign an autograph for my son, at least take a picture with him." So um, my dad kind of grabbed me and kind of shoved me in there, and so I'm sitting there, and I get this big smile on, and Reggie takes the picture next to me. At the time, you got to go get your picture developed. So we go and we get the picture developed. We blow it up into like this big thing, and I end up framing it and hanging it in my bedroom when I'm like 7 or 8 years old. And there it is. There's me, and I have my Indians hat on, and I'm like, huge cheese. I'm super excited. And Reggie he has a chapstick, and he's in the middle of putting on chapstick, and he's kind of, the camera's here, and he's kind of looking over here and like putting on chapstick. But at the time, obviously I didn't care. I just put it's a Hall of Fame player. I put up on my wall, hung it up, and it was there for pretty much my whole life as I lived in that bedroom, probably 10, 12, more than that, yeah, 12, 14 years. And so, a lot of people would come over and be like, "What the hell, you got a picture of a guy you're putting chapstick on?" And I explain the story, it's Reggie Jackson, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, fast forward now. I'm 20, probably 26 or so. I'm with the Baltimore Orioles. I get sent over to the New York Yankees kind of halfway through the season. So first day I show up, we're hitting the batting cage at the field before a game, and Reggie Jackson's a part of I don't know his exact title with the Yankees. He's a advisor, some type of assistant, something. And so we're hitting the cage down below the stadium, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden Reggie Jackson comes walking down. It's my first day there. Comes walking down, and he's kind of just talking about guys hitting in the cage and trying to help out and coach guys. And so I'm sitting there watching him, and all of a sudden, like, he kind of leaves, and I say to the guys, I say, like, everyone's kind of like, "Oh, Reggie Jackson's here," and so I tell the guys that story about what happened to me when I was younger, and like everyone's laughing. They're like, "No freaking way that happened." I'm like, "Yeah." So we go back to the locker room, to the clubhouse, and the guys went and told our one of our coaches that story. So I'm sitting in the clubhouse now on the sofa, and our coach comes over and he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "Tell me this Reggie Jackson story. Like, is this true?" So I was like, "Yeah, it's true." So I tell him the story again. He's like, "No freaking way that happened." I swear to God, it happened like 20 years ago. I was like 7 years old or something. And he's like, "Hold on one second." So he goes back into the office. He comes back and he's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. He's like, I'm going to go get Reggie. We're going to pay him back for what he did to you 20 years ago. He's like, I'm going to go get Reggie. I'm going to tell him that he needs to come out here because he's your favorite player. We just traded for you. We just got you. And I'm going to tell him we got to take a picture. You know, you really want to take a picture because you've got a picture hanging on your wall at home of a picture you guys took in the Hall of Fame, and you want to get a one 20 years later and put it next to it. And I was like, no, this is a terrible idea. And he goes, here's the thing. And he has a thing of chapstick and he gives it to me. He goes, get next to him, and when I say 3, I want you to look away and put the chapstick on your mouth without him knowing and take a picture with it. And I'm like, no chance in hell am I doing this. I've been here for like 6 hours, and it's Reggie Jackson. I'm not doing it. And he's like, you're doing it. And he walks away. So I'm sitting there like freaking out, really, really nervous. And everyone on the team at this point had kind of heard the story. So it like spread really fast. So everyone's kind of like knows what's going on. So all of a sudden, coach comes back a couple minutes later and he comes in with Reggie. And so the whole team kind of gets around and he's like, Reggie, he's like, 20 years ago, at the Baseball Hall of Fame, a young kid, 7 years old, saw you and you were his favorite player of all time. And he asked you to take a picture and you took it and he hung it on his wall. He's like, 20 years ago. And 20 years later, that kid is sitting right there. Matt Antonelli just got sent over to us, and he'd love nothing more than to have a picture taken with you so he can hang this one right up next to that old picture. And I'm like, holy shit. So, you know, Reggie comes over. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Shake his hand. And, you know, we stand up and they're like, hey, let's go right over here. Take the picture right over here. So I'm like, I guess I'm doing this. So I walk over. The whole team is now like crowded around, like watching this picture. And so I get up next to him. I put my arm around him, and our coach has got the camera, and he's like, "Okay, here we go." So like I kind of squeeze back a little bit, so hopefully he can't like see me. I got the chapstick in my hand, and coach is like, 1, 2, 3, cheese. And right when he says that, I take the chapstick up and I go like this. Reggie's got a big smile. We take the picture. Everyone's kind of like giggling a little bit, chuckling. You know, everyone claps and stuff. And so I shake his hand, and he kind of turned. He's like, "How's that, kid?" I'm like, "Good. That's great. Thank you so much, Mr. Jackson." We shake his hand. He walks away, and he walks into the office, and the door closes, and then the whole clubhouse like hysterically starts dying laughing. And so we check out the picture, and it is literally exactly what happened 20 years later. I got big league by him, you know, by a Hall of Famer 20 years before that, and then I got my chance to redeem myself in big league, a big leaguer, 20 years later. And so I've got the picture now of him doing it to me, and now I got the picture of me doing it right back to him with the chapstick. So um, interesting story that our coach actually filled him in later, kind of like the true story behind what happened. And I heard that he thought it was funny. I don't know, he might think I'm an a-hole, but I heard he thought it was a pretty funny story. So anyways, that's my Reggie Jackson story. You know, I got a bunch of random weird stories like this that I'll share with some of you, share some of them with you guys. Obviously, there's a couple of them I can't really tell, but if I know that people know about them and they're harmless stories, I'll let you guys know. So hopefully you guys found that enjoyable. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll answer them in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you're not done so already. Give us a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. Share the video with all your friends. Check out the description box below. I've got a bunch of links to books and training tools we use with all of our players. So definitely check that out. Check out our Instagram, Antonelli Baseball, our Twitter feed, Antonelli9, posting videos all the time for you guys. Check out our website, AntonelliBaseball.com, where you can find out how to work with our staff and be part of our teams. And that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much again for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.